I think I was taught very early on that to get a job done you ask a busy man, and I do tend to find myself as a busy man. Apart from my work, which is of course a full-time occupation, I have 3 relatively young children. I'm also a governor at the school. I chair the finance committee for the school. I'm a champion for a charity in the UK called Alzheimer's Research UK, which does a lot of work on dementia and research into defeating dementia. I'm involved with 2 other small charities and a couple of clubs. And so yes, ask a busy man, I do manage to fit a few things into my day. I think managing time is quite often a misnomer. I tend to think of it myself as how we use our time. And let me make one thing clear first of all. I'm not a bright spark. I'm more of a low-energy light bulb than a halogen lamp. And I suppose to continue that, to throw a bit of light on it, what I do is I surround myself with brilliant people in a number of respects. I have great staff and I have a very supportive family. And I think without those things, I certainly couldn't do a lot of what I do. Nevertheless, there are probably a couple of other tips that I would pass on. And the first one is very much about self-management. Procrastination is a very dangerous thing, and we have to manage ourselves, again, not the time, to make sure that we're using our time well. And I am a great believer in being very organised. My diary is set up at least 3 months in advance. And in fact, as I'm standing here today, I've got meetings for this time next year in parts of my diary. And I'm very strong on keeping the diary honest. I of course, will change things when I need to. Nevertheless, if at all possible, what goes in the diary is what happens. I also tend to put things into silos, by which I mean that a particular day will be concentrated on a particular set of events and perhaps jobs and tasks, and they may not be work at all in that sense. And I try not to deviate from that. I can't say I don't deviate. I think it's important we have some flexibility in our lives. That's another way we use our time. Nevertheless, I think it's important to have a few rules. So when we're talking about staff, and certainly the use of my time in my business is really important, I think it is essential to get over that as important as we all think we are, I'm sure, especially in this profession, and as important as it is that our clients see us and get to deal with us, we've done a lot of education of clients and staff about who should spend their time doing what. And let me go back very briefly. First of all, the best expense we can have on the balance sheet at the end of the year is the one we spend on staff. And it is really important to get staff with a great attitude. I'm a great believer, not least being one of not great skills myself, that the attitude is everything and the skills can be taught and or learned. In terms of what makes a great staff person, it does depend what we're wanting them to do. And as an example, we have the most spectacular lady who runs our reception at our office. She probably couldn't do anything else in the business. And I'm not sure we'd want her to. And I'm not being rude about her abilities. She is just the very best person we could have to do that. In terms of selection and so on, that's not what I do. But again, make sure you've got great people who know about selecting staff. Very approximately in terms of how many staff I have, I don't have a group of people that work exclusively for me. But in our business, we have a very unusual ratio for financial services professionals. We have a ratio of 5 support staff to every advisor, and that is really important. It means I can concentrate on doing what we generally agree I'm good at, and I don't touch anything else. And I was taught a little while ago by a prospective client about delegation. He has a fantastic line which perhaps I can share as well. He asked me what my weakness was, and I said, well, historically it had been delegation. I was much better at it, and now I'd got staff and a team and so on and so forth. And I turned it back on him and I said, what do you do about delegation? You've just got 10-fold increase in your profits over an 18-month period. You must be doing something. And his response was fascinating. He said, I don't delegate. I have people who do it for me.